Hello everyone, welcome back. Part 4. And we're not even in Clocktown. さっきから思ってたんだけど、あんたのその姿、これに似てない？ So, さっきから思ってたんだけど, so this is chatto or tattle speaking. And she's saying like from a little while ago, and this is the sort of past continuous tense, omotte ita, so I was thinking from a little while ago. Omotte tan dakedo, this is that sort of explanatory no, but it gets shortened. When does it get shortened? Basically, I suppose if you're putting it with da afterwards, it becomes nda rather than noda. You might write noda, but no one says noda. They always say nda. Omotte tan dakedo. And this kedo, it kind of means but more, it's more often used just to kind of like lighten the vibe of a sentence. So you don't really get you kind of never really tell anyone anything properly in Japanese, basically. It just kind of softens the sentence a bit. Omotte tan dakedo. Let me try and think of an example. But you might say, I don't know, just at any point, if you're telling someone something, you might like, I don't know, anything. Kore wo mitsuketa kedo, maybe. Like, I found this, but. It doesn't really mean but. It kind of just softens the sentence so you're not just outright telling someone something very suddenly. It just kind of softens. さっきから思ってたんだけど, I think. Might not even be the function it has in this case, but this does happen. Kedo. I'm trying to think of a better example, but it's hard to do when I'm making videos. I don't know why. Like, especially if you want something from someone, you might say, you know, like, I don't know. Anata to, it's a weird sentence. Anata to asobitai kedo. Like, I want to kind of hang out with you, but. And it just kind of softens it, I guess. Anyway, that's enough. Sometimes it's just a softener. Anta no sono sugata. So we've got kind of a mix of your that shape, or that form of yours, I suppose, kind of a bit more naturally translated. It's weird. It's weird to take it out of Japanese, but yeah, the form, basically, the form you currently have. Kore ni nitenai. So niru means to resemble something. So again, I think this is kind of nite inai. It's like the present continuous, like, aren't you resembling this? In fact, that's a good translation. Aren't you resembling this? The nai kind of makes it negative in the sense so that she can ask us. Like, don't you think... Yeah, don't you resemble this sort of thing? And basically with niru, you always use ni, pretty much. So use ni. Kore ni niteru. Kore ni nitenai. Don't you resemble this? Yeah, I think that's pretty good, to be honest. We'll skip that one. なんか今にも泣きそうな陰気な顔してるわよね. So nanka kind of just means nanka. Nanka, it kind of, again, it's a bit of the same as kedo in a way. It kind of comes at the start of what you say, and it kind of just softens what you say before you say it. You could probably say it's a bit like. If you say like, like doesn't really have anything to do with the rest of the sentence. You're just saying like, if we want to go, we should just go. It kind of just announces that you're about to say something. And it doesn't really have anything grammatically to do with the rest of the sentence. So she's just going like, nanka ima ni mo nakisou na kao. No, sorry, nakisou na inki na kao. So yeah, that's kind of what that's doing, I think. Nanka just sort of precedes the point of what you're saying. Ima ni mo kind of means like even now. Naku means to cry. So if you make the stem of naku, it becomes naki, and then nakisou, like it was with ikisou in part 2. Probably it was part 2, was it? Bloody hell. Ima ni mo nakisou na. So it's like a seemingly crying. And then na, because it's like a na adjective. So a seemingly crying, or rather an about to cry. Inki kind of means gloomy. Inki na, that's a na adjective, obviously. A gloomy face. And then shiteru. So essentially, when you're pulling a certain face, you can kind of just describe the face and then say shiteru or suru. Shiteru because it's present continuous. Shiteiru, but again we've omitted the e, so you could put like, I don't know, okashi kao shiteru would be like, he is doing a funny face, or he has a funny face, or he is pulling a funny face. So yeah, that's kind of all that's going on here, is a seemingly crying, gloomy face is kind of being pulled or is happening. Yeah. Wa yo ne. Wa is kind of for women. It's kind of a quite a feminine kind of sentence ending thing. Wa. Yeah, I think it just gives it kind of a slightly feminine vibe, really. Like iku wa. But it's a little bit. I suppose it's a bit feminine, not very formal. So don't say it if you're doing like business Japanese with someone. But yeah, wa yo ne. So the ne again, just rhetorically sort of seeking agreement. Yo just adding emphasis, and wa just, what does wa do? I feel like wa is a bit like a kind of just a feminine version of yo. Maybe. Anyway, then we've got ma, do demo ii kedo. So again, we've got this kedo just kind of softening the end of the sentence. Ma just saying like, well, and then do demo ii. Do demo ii kind of literally means like, however it is, it's fine. Or however it is, it's okay. But actually, like less literally, a better translation would be whatever. It's kind of a little bit negative actually. It's like, yeah, whatever. Well, whatever. So be careful of saying that. Don't say that to people. Don't say do demo ii. Because that'd be, yeah, it's kind of rude. But she's not saying it to us. She's just saying it about the situation. So it's kind of fine. She's just saying like, well, whatever. And then, yeah, Kedo, as I said, just softens it. All right, well, at least we're in the the clock tower now, I guess. Got to talk to the the mask salesman. But I'm hoping that, hopefully, we've covered certain grammar forms now that it will go a bit quicker. Oh my god. So Taihen here. Taihen nameni aimashita ne. Taihen kind of just means... What does Taihen mean? Maybe grave? Like Taihen. Let's look up some definitions. I shouldn't need to do this, but I do. Yeah, difficult. That's a good one. We've got serious, grave, dreadful, terrible, difficult, hard. So yeah, kind of terrible. I suppose. Oh, well, that's what it gets translated to in English, actually, isn't it? He says, you've met with a terrible fate. And yeah, I suppose that's it. Like a terrible... Met can mean eye, like an eyeball, a human eye. But actually, as you might know from the translation, like met ni ao means to suffer, like an experience. It says here to experience something unpleasant. So taihen na me ni ao, me ni atta. But obviously he's speaking like proper Japanese, so he's using mas form and des form. I suppose I could say polite. It's not excessively polite, but it's just general, good, proper Japanese, basically. Taihen na me ni aimashita ne. So you have kind of run into or crossed paths with a terrible, terrible fate, terrible experience, terrible situation. Oh. Hiding it up. Watakushi wa shiawase no omenya. He's saying watakushi, which is a very formal way to refer to yourself, actually. Watakushi. Don't say this to friends because you're going to sound mental, but it's very good, very proper. I think it's also just expressed by the same kanji as watashi, which is awkward. Which is why I think they've written it out in katakana here. Watakushi wa shiawase no omenya. Shiawase just meaning like contentedness or happiness. No, just to link it together. Omen, men is like a mask. Well, I say that. Omen is a mask. So, yeah, I don't know why that honorific is on there. Omen, but it just is. It's like with okane. You don't refer to money without the honorific. It just needs it. It's just kind of part of the word now. Okane. So yeah, that just means mask. And then ya here, I guess, is a kind of a... Just means like you would guess, a salesman, a professional dealer of that sort of thing. But it does also have the meaning of like just being a roof or a house. So in my dictionary it just says a something shop, or somebody who sells something or works as something. So you often get this with like restaurant names, like maybe Osushiya-san, which is quite funny. But yeah, it's just a dealer of the thing that comes before it seems. So we've got a happiness mask dealer, happiness mask shopsman, a happiness mask salesman. And then what's this? Like Kokontosai? Let's just have a look at this. Yeah, Kokontosai. Bloody hell. Kokontosai, which means, well, this first kanji means old, this second kanji means now or current, this kanji means east, and this kanji means west. So I think it just means, well, my dictionary says all times and places, because you've got old, current, east, west. So it's just all over, anywhere, all times. Kokontosai. Which is an interesting word. I think I've only ever seen it in this game, though, to be honest. Kokontosai. Shiawase no omen wo motomeru gyou shounin. Let's just look that up. Check my reading of that is correct. Yes. Awesome. Got it right. So yeah. Happiness masks, or yeah, happiness masks. Motomeru means to like to seek. It can also kind of mean to wish for, to desire something. But I think in this sense, in this case, he's using it more in the kind of both. He's using it because he desires those masks. He actively seeks them out. Motomeru, and then gyou shounin. And as you might know, this kanji here means to go, so it suggests that he travels around doing it. Shou, this is basically just like a commerce character, so it means they buy and sell things. And then this one, as we know, means person. So he is a travelling, dealing person who seeks out and searches for masks of happiness, as he kind of said. Tabi no tochu, mori de kimyo na ko oni ni taisetsu na kamen wo nusumare toho ni kurete ita tokoro. Kurete ita tokoro. What the hell is going on? Really? Okay. Whatever. So here we have Tabi no Tochu. So Tabi is like in his travels, or during his trip, during his travel. Tochu, this one means like in the middle. I don't really know what to does, but I know that Tochu kind of means like right in the middle of doing something. Tochu, on the way, en route, in the middle of, midway. So in the middle of his travels, during his travels. Mori de. De here is used as like a preposition for places when a verb is also done there. So for example, if I said omise ni iku, that just means shop, to I go. So I'm not doing anything at the shop, I am going to the shop. So you use ni for that. But if I said omise de kudamono wo katta, that means I bought fruit at the shop. So I did a verb at the shop, so I need to use de. Is, yeah, quite a simple explanation of that, I hope. So in the woods, mori de, at the woods. Kimyona ko oni. Oni is like a kind of a demon, and ko just means small. So it's like a small demon, or I think it gets translated to imp in English. Yeah, ko oni is like an imp. A kimyo is just sort of a very odd, I suppose. Let me just put that in. Strange, queer, curious. So yeah, very, very odd. A very odd imp. And then ni here. Ni is attached to the doer of the passive verb. So this is a passive verb. So this is nusumu, which in normal dictionary form, this verb is nusumu, which means to steal. And to make verbs passive, you take the last letter, in this case mu, nusumu, and you change it to the a form of the same consonant sound. So nusumu becomes nusuma, and then you have you add reru to the end, nusumareru. But in this case, he hasn't put the ru on the end because he wants the sentence to continue afterwards. Nusumare, and then something else happened. But when you use passive verbs like this, so this is was stolen, basically, because it's passive form, was stolen by an imp. So you use ni when you use passive verbs to show the thing that did the passive verb. So that's why ni is used here. Although I'm confused by this. I'm confused by the fact that they've used a direct object particle here. That's interesting. Anyway, so in the woods, by a strange imp, like, and a very important, very dear, very valuable, this is taisetsu, means like important or valuable, mask was stolen. Tohoni, let me just look that up. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Kureru. Ah. So this is its own verb. This whole thing is its own verb. Toho ni kureru means to be at a loss or to be puzzled, or I suppose to be, very confused and kind of, not knowing what to do because his valuable mask was stolen. He didn't know what to do. But in this case, this is the sort of past continuous. So when I was at a loss, when I was in a state of not knowing what to do. And then tokoro kind of means place, but it has quite a lot of different meanings actually. In this case, tokoro means at the point. Just at the point, just at the place where I was at a loss. So I think this is temporal. This is about time. Just at the point in time when I was at a loss, not knowing what to do. Anata wo mitsukemashite. Anata, you. I found you, basically. Mitsukeru is to find. And mitsukemasu is sort of the polite form of that. And mitsukemashite is kind of the te form that allows the sentence to continue on after. So that last text box and this text box continue into the next text box. So it's kind of, what did he say at the start of the last one? In the middle of my travels, a valuable mask was stolen from me by an imp, and just as I was kind of in a bad way, I discovered you, and so it's all kind of continuing on into this one. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. Yeah, actually what happens... I've got to remember to save states. Actually, what happens in Japanese is you can use those te kind of continuous verb forms to kind of, you can just end a sentence there, even though grammatically the sentence should continue. You can just end it there, and the other person will usually just infer the information that you're implying by not finishing the sentence. As an example, you could end anything there. You could say like, I don't know, これを持ってこれを持ってきたいと思って maybe. No. What's a better example? I don't know. I'll stick with that one. これを持ってきたいと思って. So you're kind of just saying, I wanted to bring this, I thought. And even though you just kind of end it on omotte, there's kind of no reason to end the sentence. Because the other person usually will just start talking in response to that before you even have to give your actual reason or whatever. Or maybe if you were late for something, that's probably a better example. If you were late for something, you might be able to blame it on like, I say blame it. It might be an actual reason. Say that the trains were delayed or something. So you could just say like, sorry for being late. Densha ga okuretete. Like the trains are running late, and you don't, even though grammatically the sentence is set up to continue, you don't have to finish it because all the information's kind of already implied anyway. I think that's what he's doing here when he said anata wo mitsukemashite. He doesn't have to say that he found us and felt good or felt better or followed us, because we can infer that. Anyway, so now he's saying shitsurei to omoi nagara mo zutto ato wo tsukesasete moraimashita. Okay. It's a good grammar point. So I think he's talking about himself and his own opinions here. But he's saying shitsurei, which means like improper, impolite, rude. Probably improper is the best translation of that. So he's saying like, I think it is improper. And then nagara means while. It means while something, while doing something. So maybe you could say, I might get the order wrong here, but I don't know. Yushoku wo tabe nagara terebi wo miru. And that means like whilst I eat my dinner, I watch TV. So that's kind of what nagara means. So whilst I think it is improper, while thinking it is improper, it's kind of saying even though I know it is improper. And then mo, I don't really know what mo's doing here, to be honest. Shitsure to omoi nagara mo. I feel like it might just polite up the language a little bit. I think it just makes it a bit more polite. Somehow. But then he's saying zutto, which we've covered, like for a long time. Ato. Ato means like after or behind. So I guess he's saying like behind us. Tsuke sasete moraimashita. Tsukeru. So I think tsukeru maybe is to follow someone. Yeah, tsukeru, in this case, tsukeru has a lot of meanings, but in this case, tsukeru is to follow someone. And what he's saying here is pretty long, It's the causative form of tsukeru. So he's taken the stem of the verb and he's saying like saseru, which would mean like to let or to make someone follow. But what he's doing to flip that background on himself is he's using moral, which means to receive. So he has, it's quite weird, probably a bit difficult if you're just getting the hang of this, but he's saying that he has received our letting him follow us. So he has kind of, yeah, it's very polite. It's a very polite way of saying it, but it's saying he has received our letting him follow us. Which, as I said, might seem a bit crazy if this is new grammar to you. But yeah, tsukesasete moraimashita. I received your allowing me to follow you. Which is kind of, he kind of didn't. He kind of took advantage of it in a way. It sort of means that he did this, he followed us, but then he's kind of wording it in this kind of polite way. You might kind of do this. This often comes up in like in quite formal Japanese business negotiations, perhaps, and things like that, where when you are about to maybe show something to someone, or to give like a speech, or to, you know, do a demonstration, or what's the word? What am I trying to? Not a performance. A presentation. Let's say you're going to give a presentation. You might say, "Presento sasete moraimasu," which means you shall receive them allowing you to present. It's just very polite, basically. In a way, you kind of are receiving them allowing you to present. It's just kind of polite, even though you are the one doing the presenting. Yeah, it's just weird grammar. It's just kind of, yeah. And then mashita, just kind of making it into past tense, proper Japanese form. Tsukesasete moraimashita. Which is mental. So basically, he followed us. He followed us, but now he's just wording it so that it sounds humble. Basically, he received our allowing us to follow him. And again, that's quite literal, isn't it? Jitsu wa watakushi anata wo moto no sugata ni modosu hou o shitteru no desu. So jitsuwa just meaning like, this means kind of reality. So jitsuwa is like in actuality, or in reality, or actually. Watakushi, I, anata wo, moto no sugata ni. So like your original. Moto is like original. No sugata. Original form to. Modosu is like to go back. Not go back. To cause something to return. So to put something back, or to return something. Modosu. Ho. So this is just like a way or a method. And so this is all just modifying ho in this case. So a way to like return you to your original form. And then he's saying shitteru, I know a way to return you to your original form. Shitteru no desu. So as we know, no is kind of very explanatory, no desu, and then des is just a polite kind of sentence ending, a way to end sentences, basically. あなたが盗まれた大切なもの。それさえあれば元の姿に戻してあげますよ。So what do we have here? We've got あなたがあなたがあなたが盗まれた大切なもの。あなたが盗まれた。It's kind of weird to me. Again, nusumu, we've got the passive form of nusumu, which is nusumareru, but this is the past tense of that passive form. So nusumareta, so to have been stolen, or more easily stolen. The stolen valuable object or item. The stolen valuable item. Nusumareta taisetsu na mono. I'm kind of confused by this because anata ga. I feel like if it said no, it would make more sense to me. Because then it would be like your stolen valuable item. But this is anata ga, which is throwing me off. Anata ga nusumareta taisetsu na mono. I might ask about that. It's probably not much different though, to be honest. I feel like that's just kind of the same vibe, but for some reason they've used ga. Anyway, sore sae areba. So aru meaning just to exist or to be, of inanimate objects or plants as well. So anything that can't move or isn't alive is aru. Areba is kind of the conditional form. So if that the thing that we mentioned in this bit. So if that exists, if it is, and sae kind of means like, in this case it means like only if you have that, only if that thing exists, or less literally, only if you have that thing in your possession. Moto no sugata ni, original form 2, modoshite agemasu yo. Modosu, again, meaning to return something or to put something back. Modoshite agemasu, just he will do it for us, kind of upwardly. Modoshite agemasu yo. Yeah, okay, I think that's kind of covered enough. Sono kawari. Sono just refers back to the previous text box. That in return, basically, in return to that, or in return of that. Like as thanks, I suppose. Well, in return. We'll go with in return. In return of that, or in return to that. Tsuide ni ano ko oni kara watakushi no taisetsu na kamen wo torikaeshite moraemasen ka? Tsuide ni kind of means like while you're at it. It means like since you're searching for your ocarina anyway, while you're doing it, like you might as well also do this because you're already in. You already need to get your ocarina back anyway. So, tsuide ni, could you get my mask back as well whilst you're at it? That's kind of what tsuide ni is. It's like if you're at the supermarket anyway, could you tsuide ni get me? I don't know, some beer, because you're there anyway. It's not really extra effort for you to add that to your tasks because you're you're already doing it. So that's kind of what suideni is. It's while you're at it, could you do this as well? Ano, just meaning, again, like it's not kono because the imp is not close to him. It's not sono because the imp is not close to me. It's ano because he is distant from both of us. He's way over there somewhere. He's way away from both of us. So ano ko oni kara, so from that imp. Watakushi no taisetsu na kamen, my wicked valuable mask. Tori kaiesu. Toru is to take, and tori kaiesu is to kind of like to take return, or to get back, to take back. Tori kaieshite morae masenka. And this is a bit like morao in the past text boxes. Morao meaning to receive. Moraieru is the potential form of that. So, like, you know, can I receive? Can I receive you doing that? And then masen is kind of negative. So it's kind of like saying, you know, whilst you're at it, could I not receive, I suppose you could see it as, could I not receive your getting back of my valuable mask? And then the cut, just, you know, kind of making it into a question, basically. Quite simple, that one. Nani? Kantan na koto janai desu ka? So nani just meaning what? Kantan meaning simple. Obviously it's a na adjective, so we need na after it. Kantan na koto, a simple thing. Janai meaning, you know, like, is it not? Is it not a simple thing? Desu ka? Just kind of making it a question. Excuse me. Is it not a simple thing to do? Anata ni totte keshite warui hanashi de wa nai hazu. Anata ni totte. Basically, ni totte means to you or for you. In the sense of, like, if you said, like, it's not difficult to me, you'd say, like, watashi ni totte muzukashiku nai. So yeah, it's that sort of sense of to or for. So to you, keshite means, I think means like definitely or for sure. Let me just look that up. Keshite. Never, by no means, decidedly, indisputably. I think you have to use a negative. I think you have to use negative with keshite, which is why there is negative at the end here, nai. So it's for you, absolutely not. Warui hanashi. Warui hanashi is like a bad kind of discussion. I wonder if it means like not a bad thing to ask. Not a horrible thing to ask, maybe. I'm kind of guessing there. But yeah, so for you, it most certainly is not a terrible thing to ask, I think, is what's going on. In the sense that, you know, it should be quite easy for us. And then we've got hazu at the end, which kind of expresses an expectation. How can I illustrate hazu? Hazu just means like should, in the sense of you having an expectation. So if you maybe like lost something, if you put something down before you went to bed, let's say, and then you woke up in the morning and it wasn't there anymore, you could say like koko ni aru hazu, which means it should be here. It's that sort of should. So he's kind of saying it should not be a difficult task for you, or it should not be, I expect that it should not be an awful thing to ask of you. I believe. The most iffy bit of this is this bit that I'm not so sure of, but that's what Hazu does. It just kind of, yeah, is an expectation, meaning that something should or should not be a certain way based on what you expect. Tada. Tada kind of means like just. So in this case, it's kind of like, but there is just this fact that we need to consider. That's how I always use tada anyway. But in this case, yeah, tada is like, I guess it means however. Ainiku watakushi mo isogashii mi deshite. Me. Okay, well, ainiku, it kind of just means unfortunately, I think. Unfortunately, or sorry but, I've got written here. So unfortunately, watakushi mo, I also, isogashi, meaning just busy, and me means like body. I guess it means, in this case, like body in the sense of like being a whole person. So I am a busy person, kind of. I am a yeah. Unfortunately, I also am a busybody. Might be a way to look at it. I am a busy person. Deshte. I think this is a bit like des, but just the continuous form, which is kind of funny. Again, just allows the sentence to continue on afterwards. So isogashi mi deshite, and then we've got this information, which is ato mika de koko o saraneba naranai no desu. So ato like kind of means later. So ato mika de. Yeah, so in or after 3 days, or kind of, yeah. Dare, what's dare doing here? This kind of means in 3 days, I guess. Yeah, mika de. Yeah, kind of within these 3 days, by the means of these 3 days. Koko o saraneba naranai no desu. Koko meaning here, this place. Saru means to leave. And this is kind of this is a good grammar point here, actually. I kind of need to start with the most default form, I suppose. Basically, naranai is always negative. You cannot have, this verb does not exist in a positive way. It's always naranai. And what naranai means is, it means kind of, it's a bit like dame. It means like unacceptable, to be unthinkable, to be, yeah, to like those two things, to be unthinkable, to be unacceptable, to just not be on. It's not on at all, kind of thing. And so what you do to say must in Japanese is you use a negative verb form, negative form verb, and then naranai. So it would be like, not doing this is completely unacceptable, and in that way it means I must do it. Yeah, it's like I must not do this, therefore I must do it. And as I said, saru, means to leave. Normally, people would make this negative by just saying, ah, man, there's lots going on. This is kind of negative conditional. So, saru, to make it negative, would become saranai. And then, to make it negative conditional, it would become saranakereba. So it would normally be saranakereba naranai. But there is this older form that doesn't really get used so much nowadays, I don't think. But it's basically the same thing. It's a shame because it's kind of easier. It's a lot shorter. Rather than saranakereba, you've just got saraneba, which is this kind of negative conditional. So if I don't leave, it's completely unacceptable. Therefore meaning I must leave this place in 3 days. And then no, just being very explanatory. And then des, just making it kind of politer. And proper Japanese. Dekireba, sore made ni torikaeshite itadakeru to arigatai no desu ga. So here we have dekireba, which is kind of a conditional potential form of do. So if you can, basically, if you can do this, sore made ni, this is kind of like, made ni is like by a point in time. So made is until a point of time, and made ni is by a point in time. So before the until point. So this is like by that point, by then, basically. If you can, by then, torikaeshite itadakeru. Good lord. So itadaku is a bit like morao. It means to receive something. So what he's saying is, and again, this is potential form of that. So itadaku has become itadakeru, meaning the potential form of it. So, oh my god, there's so much going on in here. This to kind of makes it into a conditional as well. So we've got dekireba, which is one form of conditional, and this to here, which is a different form of conditional. So he's basically saying, if I can receive your taking the mask back by that point in time, arigatai is kind of like the state, the adjective or state form of arigato. So it's like grateful, basically. It means grateful. Grateful. So I will be grateful if I can receive your getting the mask back by that point in time. And then no desu ga. Again, just kind of ending the sentence here. No desu ga. And then this ga, in this case, actually acts as a but or a however. So yeah. If I can, or if you can, or if possible, by that point, if I can receive your taking back of the mask, which isn't actually mentioned, like grateful, that's kind of all the information that's there. Implied is obviously I will be grateful, but oh no, sorry, I think that ga at the end was actually a bit like the kedo. It was just softening the end of the sentence. So it was just like arigatai no desu ga. And it's kind of just ended there. It kind of just softens it. It's sort of... It allows their... I suppose it makes him sound a bit more modest. Because he's not just telling you he will be grateful. He's saying, I'll be grateful, but I will be grateful even though, and then it just kind of ends. That's kind of the vibe of that ga, I think. And then here he's just saying like daijoubu, like it's okay, things are all right or whatever. Anata wa owakai no ni, oh for goodness sake. Taisou yuki no aru okata da. So anata wa owakai no ni. I think this is kind of doubling up here. So he's obviously talking about us, saying anata. O wakai, saying you are young. No ni. This is not the same as the no knees we've seen in the past, where it was sort of expressing regret or saying although or despite. I think this is... I don't know what the no's doing, to be honest, but I think the ni is kind of like saying, in addition to being young, or maybe it's like the no is saying like the fact that you are young, and then the ni is saying, in addition to the fact that you are young, taisou yuki no aru okata da. Okata can mean like a person. It's quite a polite way of saying a person. So this is like you are a person in whom there is, or in whom there exists. Taiso, I suppose, just means a lot of or considerable. Yeah, I think so. Like, just means that you are a person within whom there exists a large amount of courage. Yuki means courage. Ki, I suppose, is just kind of a sense of something. It's like a what is ki? I don't know. I shouldn't guess really, but basically yuki just means like courage. So you are a person, so in addition to the fact that you are young, you are a person within whom there exists a large amount of courage. And that's why it's okay. And then he's saying, Kitto sugu ni mitsukarimasu yo, which is kind of funny grammar, because it's just kind of like, Kitto is like for sure, undoubtedly, surely. Sugu ni just means like immediately or before long. Mitsukarimasu, mitsukaru is to be found. So it's quite funny that he's saying this. It works in Japanese, but you wouldn't say it in English. Obviously in English you would say, surely you will find it immediately. But in Japanese it's just like the mask will be found immediately. And you can express it in this way in Japanese. Obviously if you did that in English it would sound a bit weird. But yeah, it's just saying undoubtedly, for sure, immediately, it will be discovered, it will be found. You will find the mask straight away, just like that. Dewa yoroshiku. So having discussed all that, with all that being said, yoroshiku. Same as like Tattle said to us, yoroshiku, in the past. Oh, okay, so we're about to get into Clock Town. Oh man, this game's going to take a little while, eh? Alright, cool. Anyway, check out the text document and that, as always. Support me on Patreon if you want. Don't have to. Don't if you don't want to. Etc. Thanks for watching. Hope this has been like worthwhile, and I'll see you next time.